Hello, is that better? Bob says no. I can see it moving on the screen. Well, what on earth? I just got out and came back in. Okay. Well, so it corrects itself. It just takes a few seconds and it's a StreamYard issue. I have a new apparatus thing that plugs into the side of my computer because I thought it was the last one, but I hear other people are having the problem. So, all right, good. Stephanie said loud and clear. That's either a good or a bad thing, depends on Stephanie's ears. Christina can hear me. Welcome, Christina. Hello. I said hello to Granny this morning. I saw Chris. Hillbilly Tech, where have you been? Have you just been hiding in the background? Bonnie's here. Hello, Bonnie. Hello, Bob. Texas Tiffany's here. Carla, Katie. Yessie's in the house. Shanny's in the house. See, and Big T came backstage and gave me a mic check at like 20 minutes before the show. It's insane. Love for True Crime. What a cool name. Beck B, hello. Nani's here. I see a bunch of people saying they can't hear, but that was earlier. Elaine is here. Thank goodness. So this morning, before the show, people come in, we're all just chatting with each other and, good morning, got my coffee, all that stuff. Well, Jeannie sends me a message on Facebook and she's freaking out. There's a screenshot and she goes, I hit Elaine. I accidentally hit her. So I had to go in and I had to unhide Elaine. Anyway, it was funny. Good thing she caught it. We have the mods here. The mod squad is awesome. Amba is a new member because she's awesome too. Thank you, Amba. Thank you. Getting a members live together right now. I had all the intentions in the world of doing one this week, but we've had 2 weeks of a true crime typhoon to where the minute I thought I had something done, something crazy happened. Something crazy happened. Whether it be Billy and Leilani doing shots in Tybee Island, or Joe Kennedy hightailing it to Daytona, Florida. We might do one this weekend. I don't know. We're long overdue. It's been 2 weeks. We got to do a members live ASAP. Plus, got to start getting geared up. Holidays are coming. So we definitely have a special members live for Halloween, the week of Thanksgiving. Then we're going to do the 12 days of Christmas. It's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely got to get my ass in gear. And all the criminals need to behave. All of the criminals need to behave. I can't get anything done. If they would all just cool their jets for a little bit, it'd be all right. But they're not. I tell you what. And if in the last 10 years you have made any video regarding a landfill, you're getting a lot of views this week. This morning, I'm just checking some things out, and it said suggested for you, suggested for you, suggested for you. And it's all these landfill videos. I haven't even been searching about landfills. So YouTube is doing that, but they can't get notifications, right? My goodness. So then this morning, I'm getting my coffee. Hang on, I got to clean my glasses. Had them on my head. I don't use Aquanet anymore, but I obviously have something in my hair that gets the insides of them dirty. All right, all clear on the windshield now. So I'm getting my coffee, getting some notes together. Had to answer some work emails, that's a time of my life I'm never going to get back. You know how it goes. And it pops up on early today because I get up early. I didn't golden girl it last night, though. I actually went to sleep at a normal time. Because that was kind of rough. The night before, I had fallen asleep at 6:30 in the evening. I wake up. I'd had a full night's sleep, so I'm up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, can't go back to sleep. Christina still uses Aquanet. Same girl. I'm with you. I just wish those big old cans were 88 cents like they used to be. You could use them for your hair and you could start awesome campfires with them. So anyway, this is on early today. All right, this is supposed to be reputable news source. Now, this is early today, not my man, Craig Melvin and Al Roker. They were very serious when they said this. I guess I'll have to take mine back. Simone Biles, Olympic gymnast, very, very talented girl. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Elaine, for becoming a YouTube member. Olympic gymnast, very talented. She knows what she knows, right? She's speaking out about anybody who dresses as Jeffrey Dahmer for Halloween. This was on the news. I'm like, you really wasted the electricity in your own breath to tell us what she thinks about Halloween costumes? I was absolutely floored, and they said it with a straight face. Now, mind you, he is a nasty, nasty human being. He was the devil on earth. But what people dress for Halloween shouldn't be on the news. But then there's a lot of stuff that's on the news that shouldn't be on there. So that's how my day started. Stupid emails. And what's Simone Biles, is that how you, Simone Biles, who she will and won't be friends with based on what they are for Halloween. I was like, well, I guess I'll have to take my costume back, right? Not that I would dress as that. I couldn't even tell if somebody was dressed as Jeffrey Dahmer. Seems like people, that's the new style now. What a waste of time. And then, of course, I waste your time with it. But if it pops up, you've already been warned. You've already been warned. All right, the link is pinned. Don't be shy to grab it. It's a week in review show, so we're just going to go slow and easy like prom night to talk about all the insanity that happened this week. This is 2 weeks in a row. I feel like I got hit by a snowplow. So I did not cover Kylie Rodney this week, although I had every intention to. So for those of you sending me all these emails and everything, they are not being ignored. Trust me. Like I said, with what was going on and still going on in Okmulgee, Oklahoma, along with Quinton, then we have the nastiness that came out about Ronnie Lawson and his son. Had to get on that. So no, Kylie has not been forgotten. Now, I don't know who watched the interview room. I'm not going to play it on Chris McDonough's channel. Uh-oh, we're getting new members. Thank you, Karma is a bitch. I need to steal that YouTube name. That is an awesome YouTube name. Still can't beat Juicy Tequila Bobo. Still can't beat that. I don't know where that came from. She has never told me. I'm afraid to ask. I just like it being the urban myth that it is. Sol McDonough, he does the show Sunday night, talking about the autopsy. And I caught part of it. And I like Chris McDonough. I do. I think his wife is an absolute dear. I love the show. I love his input. You know, he's a former detective. I didn't know anything about this man until the Summer Wells case. And I just really appreciated the perspective that he gave everyone regarding Summer's life. You know, really. Sunday night, I felt very bad for Chris McDonough. He brought a knife to a gunfight because people were armed for bear. He couldn't explain the autopsy. Nobody was going to we're going to wait on the highway patrol for answers or anything like that. I was like, man, if I was Chris right now, I would pretend like my Wi-Fi went out or StreamYard shit the bed or something. I'd be out of there because it was not going well. There wasn't really anything he was saying that nobody was there to hear about an accident. Let me put it that way. They were wanting to know. Chris, I know you're not a doctor, but you are an ex-detective, and you've had to see some dead bodies. So, hey, Chris, have you ever seen an autopsy, or have you ever had to testify in court when the medical examiner said they drowned, but they had no water in their lungs? Chris, can you tell me about that? He wasn't there for that. I felt awful for him. I felt awful for him. A lot of people are coming to me talking about dry drowning and things like that. We talked about dry drowning, during Summer Wells. Summer Wells is still going on. I don't mean that the case is closed. From what I'm understanding about dry drowning, it's kind of like, you go swimming, you get some water in your lungs. Please correct me. You take a gulp and it comes up later or something, she was immersed in water. Kylie was immersed in water. And she has an autopsy that the medical examiner in Sacramento put out. This guy's the real deal. I mean, he went to school. He got all the recommendations. He's not like a research doctor. He can do it. There's no water. No water in her belly. Pancreas dry as a bone. Nothing in her lungs. So yeah, I mean, we would like to have that explained to us. So anyway, no, we will still be talking about Kylie. I just have to apologize. Well, I don't need to apologize for this week because you guys were here for it too. It was insanity. 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row. Oh, man. And poor old McDonough, not that he's an old man, like I said, he wasn't prepared for that. He wasn't prepared for that. When he was a detective, there weren't, when do people really, really start using the internet? Because when I did, it was AOL. Somebody knew they couldn't use the phone for a while, that type of thing. There wasn't even movie schedules on there. Internet hadn't even thought of that yet. So in his police work, he didn't have social media chatter. It was kind of hard not to feel bad for him. Still, it was a very informative show. So, like I said, the link is pinned. If you want to come up and chat with me, don't be shy. Switch back. It says your devices are not connected. You'll have to get out and come back in. And I'm going to go through some comments from yesterday's show about Quinton. So we're going to start with Quinton. And we're actually going to go over some news that we didn't cover on the channel that we're going to talk about today. Hold on. All right. It would have been nice if I put the comments up like an idiot. I didn't. All right. Had a lot of comments from Lorraine. I'm not going to say the last name. Lorraine, you left a lot of comments after the show yesterday, and they were awesome comments. So come in for a live sometime, Lorraine. By the way, if I showcase your after show comment, that means a comment that you leave when the show is over on the replay. I want you to be part of everything too, which is why I showcase a lot of the comments. And send me an email. You'll know why. Matter of fact, ask Lauren. She knows why. Lorraine said, I don't think the pool has anything to do with it because they went in there and sprayed luminol. They got traces in the house, so no, I don't think the pool has anything to do with it at all. And a car she was in that they've told. So, okay, that kind of trailed off a little bit. Now, I agree with Lorraine. I could be proven wrong. It's happened many, many times before. It'll happen again. It's okay. We're just here to discuss. I kind of think that they drained that pool because the line of BS that they fed Curtis about how the doors were left open conveniently from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. on an app that someone has on their phone that doesn't live there. I think that they drained that pool to get forensics out of it, to get ahead of what was getting ready to be told to them, which was this was just an accident and she covered it up. That's just what I think. Because they drained the whole pool. You don't have to be a certified scuba diver to get in that pool, green or not, to swim around and find little Quinton. So yes, they drained it for a reason, but I think it was to disprove what they know was going to be told. So we heard Curtis saying this is what they told him. Well, the door just happened to be open from 2 to 3 or 2 to 5, 3 hours. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Like Big T said, well, then who closed the door? Who closed the door? Marie said, why is no one thinking it's weird Danny leaves the same day baby boy is dead? Now, I wanted to correct this. He did not leave on that Wednesday. It is my understanding he didn't leave for a few days later. I do think that the interrogation that he had with the authorities probably scared the hell out of him because he wasn't so in love with Leilani anymore. He wasn't so in love with Leilani anymore. He's in Atlanta playing pool with his buddies. I saw it for myself on Twitter. So I just wanted to, not to tell you were wrong, Marie. I just wanted to make sure that we knew he didn't leave the same day, not taken up for Danny. Okay, she goes on to say he took. Oh, okay. Never. She's thinking that maybe Quinton isn't in the landfill and Danny might have put him somewhere between Savannah and Atlanta. I don't know. I do think it's odd that Danny got the hell out of there so fast. I think it's really odd that he was okay leaving his baby there. Some people said, yeah, but they're not even married. Well, still, that's his biological child. From what I'm understanding, his name is on the birth certificate. He would have every right to take his own child, considering the circumstances. Fine Art on Fire said, this isn't the first time they've had to search landfills. Around here, they keep records on exactly where each truck dumps, and they rotate areas often. Now, that's really true. They do that here too. They do it at every landfill, really. I mean, unless you have like a private dump on like your property. Let's say you have a section of land, somebody gives you $20 and you're like, yeah, go ahead and throw that refrigerator down there. I don't care. But like actual landfills that service the public, they keep particular records for. They have to tell them, truck 1 goes to 1st Street. Truck 2 goes over to University Avenue. Truck 3 on Thursdays takes care of the industrial complex. So they have to track where everything goes. Now, truck 3 has to dump over there. Normally back around 1 in the afternoon. Then we compact around 5 o'clock. They are really particular about it. What is sad is that they are so particular about records and so forth because of nasty ass people, depraved people like Leilani who do illegal things like put their children in the trash. Hang on. You were backstage and it showed you weren't connected. Then you got connected and I was just getting ready to bring you up. Try it again. All right. I had a lot of comments yesterday about no, Quit acting like Danny has nothing to do with this, Brooks. Just because he said he didn't send the text and just because he called Diana at 9 o'clock doesn't leave him out of this. Just because he's in Atlanta and he left this mess behind him doesn't make him clear of anything. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. 100%. I think the focus has been shifted off of Danny, well, because of stunts like what we saw a couple of days ago, where Billy and Leilani decided to go party at Stingrays. So it's kind of easy to forget about someone else that was in the house when the grandmother that was supposed to make sure Leilani particularly was not around Quinton or Zane is with the suspect, prime suspect, as of right now, only suspect, doing shooters and getting phone numbers from waiters. So, yes, that is my fault. That is my fault. All right, AP said, with the incredibly carefree attitude between Leilani and Billy post-tragedy, I am extremely interested in the amount of communication between the two of them that fateful morning. Well, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. Some people have even speculated. Switchback, try the link again. It showed you weren't connected, then you did connect, and I was in a different screen reading comments. So, my mind is there too. How much communication, Leilani, did she have with Billy the morning of? Let's face it, Billy was wired for sound that Diana was speaking to the news. Very upset about this. If they could have kept this in-house, they would have. If Diana had not showed up that morning, I do not believe 911 would have been called. I think they needed more time to buy time. Mama Kay said, I heard they were at the bar, still haven't seen the pics. Well, where were you, Mama Kay? There's one. Nope, that's not it. That's something else. There's Leilani at the bar. Mama Kay. Switchback, it says devices not. There you go. All right, there's Leilani at the bar. Now, this is what came out yesterday. This is about her charges in North Carolina. It looks like she stole a couple packs of cigarettes, a bag of popcorn, and a lemonade from the Love's truck stop that she worked for in North Carolina. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You should never steal. You should never steal. You should never steal. I'm not saying that. Employee theft is always charged much, much higher. Well, because a lot of times people are stealing money. I'm not saying Leilani should have been stealing the cigarettes, the popcorn, and the lemonade, but she is on a felony probation. She's still supposed to be doing community service and all that stuff. I don't think that community service is ever going to get done. She's never going to pay back her debt to society for the cigarettes, popcorn, and lemonade. She has done much, much worse. Switchback, what's going on? Uh-oh, device is not connected. I'm trying, I promise. Kelly, I don't think Q was in the landfill. I think Danny disposed of the body on his way to Atlanta. Many people say that. Now, one of the neighbors said that the car, I don't know what car they're talking about. Somebody must have had a car there, was towed. So I don't know how he got to Atlanta. Leilani still has her white truck because we saw her in it. The reason I'm leaning towards he's somewhere in that landfill is because they told the local newspaper, this is from the chief, that the dogs hit on a scent. It was also explained that that scent wasn't from cleanup from materials, as in the scent is Quinton, but it's not like Quinton on a paper towel. Let me put it this way. It's not like a cleanup scent. The hit is really him. And so we'll see. I'm going to be now they brought in a special team to do this, people that know what they're doing out of Quantico. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. I still think it wouldn't hurt to have Billy and Leilani out there doing it. I mean, I know they would never allow that. I know they would never allow that. That picture would give me a little bit of satisfaction, just a tad bit though. A lot of times when things go to the landfill, between compaction, incineration, they bury the trash. They have to, or the whole town would stink. Plus there's environmental, the ammonia and everything like that. They don't get found. They don't get found. And that's what I'm really worried about. They've already searched the local area. It's like you drop a rock in the water. The rock is your crime scene. All the ripples around are what you need to be searching. Well, they've searched all the ripples. The dogs hit on the landfill. They have her by, according to the chief, by this dumpster in a known area. Curtis assumes it's at the trailer park. Now, I don't know if the trailer that she was living in is in that trailer park or another one I've heard of. Either way, it seems pretty premeditated to me that Quinton dies on that morning and they just happen to be picking up the trash at that trailer park because she made sure that dumpster got emptied. I don't think Leilani keeps up with waste management schedule. I think she already had something in mind. They have no remorse. This is the word I was thinking of. Thank you, Fun to Ski. Methane gases. So like when your trash goes to the landfill, they have to bury it, incinerate it, burn it off, compact it. And he's been there since since I'd say probably by noon on October 5th. So then they have to wait to get all the information back from their phones. It's not like she had a text to Danny saying, hey, I'm at the dumpster waiting for it to be emptied because I put Quinton in it. They have to wait for all of these places to send back the data. I couldn't believe when I read the arrest affidavit for Lori Vallow, the charging documents, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, how long it took them to get the cellular data back, information back from AT&T, Google, Verizon. Then there were, I want to say like T-Mobile. There was like 4 or 5. It took them forever to get it back. Let's see if we can work now. Hello, Switchback. How are you?
Hey. Am I?
Oh,
can you hear me?
Now we're cooking with gas. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good.
I was just
talking about landfill. Leilani, Danny. Let's do a poll real quick. Do you think Danny's involved or not? And I don't mean involved like he might know something. Do you think he's part of the murder and cover-up of Quinton Simon?
Now, Danny is the boyfriend, right?
Oh, yes. He was the one that supposedly sent the text to Diana saying we're not going to need you.
Yeah. I think he knew that he he was trying to cover his CYA with the whole "we don't need a babysitter,"
Yep.
right?
Sounds like it to
Yeah,
me.
I think. And do you remember the Ocean City case where the Navy SEAL and that girl, they robbed and murdered people and dumped them in different dumpsters all over Atlantic City? It was a long time ago. Um, the one with the really short curly hair. I can't remember her name. Erica, something like that.
What happened?
Well, they ended up dumping the body parts all over, and what they did, like you said, is they mapped out the landfill, and they went back and they got the woman's leg, and they found the man's torso.
Dear
So
God.
they convicted him on, they convicted him on that.
Dear God.
So that was in the 90s, I believe, or the early aughts. Yeah, like 2003, something like that.
I don't remember
But
that.
that's what makes me think that, not that they would do that to the baby, just that it would be, they map out the landfills. They know, they know where, like you showed the picture on the community page, and it was of the, where the trash was separated.
Oh, it's awful. Yeah, they have mapped it out. They have mapped it out. It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, that made me so sad.
It is awful, awful, awful. So I had a few comments from people saying, listen, Billy and Diana truly just met at church. They were not friends before. Now, I don't know how you guys know that. And if that's the case, that's the case. Now, by me saying that, I think, no one's told me, this is just what I think, that they are actually better friends than what we're led to believe. I'm not even saying anyone's lying to us. Not even saying anyone's lying to us. It would actually be a better thing to me if Billy and her were friends before, because she's leaving her in charge of watching the kids. So it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying anything bad that they were friends before. I said it reminds me of Candace and Allie. As soon as Summer went missing, especially, Allie, oh, I don't like her. We had a falling out where I can't stand her. I knew her a little bit. Candace, I can't stand them. Then we find out that these two women were fighting over Jose's pogo stick. All right? So this could be the same thing, only no pogo stick and no Jose. They could have been very good friends. They're just not going to come out now and say it because we have a lot of blame game going on. We heard Billy yelling at Diana, I needed your help. That is something I would say to a friend of mine that I'm mad at. I'd be like, look, I needed your help. Lady, don't forget.
Yeah, where were you? Yeah.
Yeah, you heard all that. That'd be something I would, like said, a friend of mine, I'd be like, are you kidding me? After I told everybody at work that you truly did have a stomach virus, I asked for your help. You wouldn't help me? That is, they seem on a different level as opposed to somebody who was just paid to watch the kids for a little bit.
And it's just one kid, right? It's just Quinton, right? Do we know?
What do you mean?
I know she had other kids taken from her.
Quinton is
but,
missing.
Right.
They're looking for Quinton in the landfill.
Right. That's the only one that's missing. But the other ones are with someone else, right?
Yeah, they're in foster care now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So she couldn't take, just the same kind of situation with Candace. You couldn't take care of your first kids, and then you get more. And it's like, how many kids are you going to entrust with people that really have shown that they can't do it? They can't, do it.
Well, Diana is perfectly capable of taking care of the kids. Diana's not the problem. The problem is that Billy went out of town on work, which she absolutely can do. So she set up a babysitter for Zane and Quinton and Sky. But she knew She knew, because if we know, she damn sure knew
Mhm.
that Leilani
Yeah.
was not supposed to be taking care of the children unsupervised, actually to be around them at all,
Right.
is my understanding.
Right.
And now they're
That's
looking,
what I thought. They weren't supposed to be. Yeah, that's what I thought.
now they're looking for Quinton in the landfill. So actually, I'm gonna play. Let's see real quick. I'm going to play the clip that came out on WSAV last night. Hang on one second.
It has been more than 2 weeks since a Chatham County toddler went missing. Investigators believe Quinton Simon is dead and have named his mother as the prime suspect. That has many people wondering, why hasn't his mother, Leilani Simon, been charged with the crime?
No one has been charged.
Why has no one been charged?
Because we're not ready to charge anyone yet. We still have work to do.
Yesterday, we showed you exclusive pictures of Leilani Simon at a Tybee Island bar. This as officers wrapped up the first day of searching a Chatham County landfill for her son's body. WSCV's lead investigative reporter Brett Buffington is live tonight at a Joint Task Force Command Center near the search site. And he brings us a new perspective on the question of why no charges so far in this case. Brett?
Quite frankly, Tina, that is because Leilani Simon isn't a threat to anyone else in the public. At least that's the opinion of this law enforcement expert I talked with today, asking specifically why Leilani is not in jail. It's the picture so many people are talking about. Leilani Simon at this Tybee Island bar Tuesday night. Servers told us her mom, Billy Joe, was with her. With a few other people, we've learned they ran up a tab over $300. That happened while dozens of federal agents and Chatham County investigators continued their search for her son.
It's not necessarily the public pressure, but a deep desire to find that child's body.
Art Azevedo, former police chief in Austin, Houston, and Miami, with his insight on why police haven't arrested anyone in Quinton's case.
A parent that kills a child more than likely is a low risk to a stranger, to the greater society.
An arrest could simply be on hold because police believe they will find Quinton's body.
If you think you have a lead where the body's at, like it appears you do in your case, it's important to be patient.
Today, the WSAV investigative unit learned new details about Quinton's mom's past. Leilani Simon, who told police last month she was on probation, was. Just last year in North Carolina, Leilani Simon was charged with a felony, accused of stealing 2 packs of cigarettes, a bag of popcorn, and a drink from the truck stop where she worked. Chatham County Police have said when they bring charges in Quinton's case, there won't be any doubt about them. Well, let's go back to those terms of that probation. Leilani Simon is 5 months into a 12-month sentence there. She has to serve 48 hours of community service and can't be caught committing another serious crime. As for the search today at that landfill, the investigators have come back here to this command center and gone home for the day. There is no update of anything they found there, but they will be back first thing in the morning. Tina?
Dear God. Dear God. All right. So she stole some cigarettes and lemonade and popcorn. So, I mean, I guess if they really, really wanted to lock her up, North Carolina could come get her right now because she's on probation. I mean, she hasn't been charged with anything. I do like the statement when they said, when she is charged, it's gonna be ironclad. It's gonna stick. There's not gonna be any technicality. I'm glad they had that prosecutor on there going, look, if they can get a body, they need to get the body. You got no question.
I think they said yet too. Like they're hopefully.
What'd you say, hon?
I said, I think they said yet also. So meaning it's coming up, you know, yet. Like they haven't charged her yet.
Oh
So,
yeah, they've been saying, they're like, don't worry, she's the prime suspect. I mean, they
Mm.
have agents, FBI agents from Quantico going through this landfill. It looks like something out of a horror movie.
It does. It does. And that there's so many working on it. And it's like, I know that sounds like, I guess it's from the drone footage, but it looks like, it sounds kind of gruesome, but that isn't a lot that they got through. And that, you know, there's a lot yet to go if they haven't found him yet. So it's,
They said it could take
oh
weeks.
my goodness.
They
Oh
said
my
it could
goodness.
take weeks. They said it could take weeks. It makes me sick. Weeks.
Oh my goodness. Mm.
So Yaw's daughter said probation violation. Well, that kind of brings us to something else we discussed on the channel this week, and we're not going to stop discussing it for a very, very, very long time. And that would be, I did see someone in here ask, when Don Wells was getting out, the father of
I want to.
he is going to be getting out, I think, October 30th. He's in jail for a probation violation of probation. Okay. Trevor, who lives local, and he's been really, really hitting it hard. Okay. He's a big advocate for Summer. And when the information came out that Ronnie Lawson's son has 4 charges against him that are SA related. He's going to serve 1 year. He was sentenced to 20, but he's only going to sit there for a year. That's disgusting and that's sick. Well, WJHL in East Tennessee, they ran like a 30-second clip. I mean, 38 seconds, I think, is what I counted. Hawkins County shut down their Facebook. They don't want to hear it. Now, it's obvious and it's very safe to say in this case, not all law enforcement, in this case, we're talking about Hawkins County, there was definitely a cover-up going on regarding Ronnie Lawson's son. Everybody knew it. And even though his victims are under the age of 13, it seemed like there was no reason to put him in jail while he was awaiting being sentenced. And there was no letting the public know that there could be a public safety issue. You don't want this guy around your kids. It's disgusting. The media, I tell you what, I used to really, really brag up Jeff Bobo with the Rogersville Review. Just stand up, dude. Well, they've got to him too. Look at what he posted. Look at this. And I still think he is a great guy. Don't get me wrong. But they have gotten to him too. They are shutting him up. Yes, Beckby, but nobody runs against him. It really doesn't shock me in a small town, or any town really. If you like the person, you keep voting for him. No point in changing generals in the middle of the war, right? No point. So for him to be the sheriff for a long time is not a shocker. That doesn't scream corruption. But the sheriff that nobody runs against, that's a problem. Exactly, Diane. Lawson knew what was coming down the pike for his son, one way or another it was going to. He already knew. This was all known. It was known to the DA. It was known to Pruitt, who's the lead investigator in the disappearance of Summer Wells. It should have been made known to the public, though. Even though he's the only one running, it still should have been put out there. All right, so
Yeah,
I
that's a
put this.
threat to society.
What's that?
That's a threat to society. I mean, you don't want a threat out there.
No. And people need to know what's going on when it pertains to them. I'm not saying that you have to know that Rita, the secretary, orders Post-its once a month. I'm not talking about that type of transparency. But when the sheriff's son is in a legal peril, should we say, I think that's important for the public to know. I don't live there.
Yeah.
I didn't need to know. But if I was a citizen of Hawkins County, I would demand that I would have known something like that. All right, so Jeff Bobo puts this was a response to something that was asked of him. He says comments were turned off because this company can be held liable for slander that takes place on websites and social media it manages. Yes and no, Jeff. Yes and no. People have a right to their opinion. Now, if they're on there flat out accusing Ronnie or something, you might want to moderate that. But people have a right to their opinion. Please do not forget, and I hate when I have to be fair to Dawn and Candace, but I'm forced to every now and then, and that is, you can thank Ronnie Lawson and his cronies for that today. The comments were not turned off when Donald Wells went to jail for violation of probation. Matter of fact, those comments, well, as of yesterday, they were all still there, where people are saying now he's going to basically accusing him of killing his daughter. They're accusing him of killing his daughter. Those comments were not taken down. They were not moderated. I'm not defending Dawn. I'm just letting you know. But in this case, they turn off the comments because it has to do with the sheriff's son. So he says comments were turned off because, he doesn't want to get sued. That's what he's saying. If you follow criminal court, yeah, because we have nothing else to do. It's kind of like a Pruitt remark. But if you want to fill out an application and come down here, Hawkins County's hiring. All right, so he says, if you follow criminal court, you know that the sentence the sheriff's son received for the charges is pretty standard. The hell it is. The hell it is. Josh Duggar is in Seagoville for not near long enough. He'll be there, 8, 9, 10 years? He was sentenced to 12, I believe. I just did a show about it yesterday, I should remember. For possession, receiving, CP. I'm not saying that's okay. I'm not saying it's any better. I'm not saying it's any worse, but you see what I'm saying? No, this is not standard. You would see it's pretty standard, especially in the post-COVID era. Oh, you pulled out COVID on me, did you? What? What? Especially in the post-COVID era where they're handing out probation over jail time to keep down jail populations. Dangerous, violent crimes are getting 1 year inside and the rest on probation. But the DA and TBI wouldn't have allowed the plea agreement without the approval of the victims. Really? Really? I have a feeling the victims and their families were just told to put up or shut up. I have a feeling they didn't even know. I agree that he should receive more time inside, as should everyone who commits similar crimes. There is a truth in sentencing bill pending in the General Assembly to increase actual jail time for these types of crimes, and I hope it passes. The sheriff personally told me about his son's plea the day before it occurred, and I told him I would treat him the same way I treat any other criminal case, and that's what I did. No, you didn't, Jeff. No, you didn't. You turned off comments. You turned off comments because you said you didn't want to get sued for slander. Now you tell me what kangaroo court is going to bring the Rogersville Review in because someone named Ladybug61 said, I think he should serve more time, or I think his dad should be sitting in the jail next to him. I think Lawson should be voted out. What court is going to listen to Rogersville Review getting sued, or how is Rogersville, who's going to sue Rogersville Review for someone saying something bad about a very bad situation? Who? Sounds like one of the uppers, if you follow this case, told him, don't you dare let this get out any more out of hand than it already is. Hang on. Stacy, that's what I'm hearing too. Candace is back on Ben Hill. I've been hearing it too, Stacy. Almost time for a reunion. Wonder if Dawn still has the same phone number. I don't know. I'm really upset about this though. He covers crime in the Rogersville Review in Hawkins County, but for the sheriff's son, no one gets to throw any shade, give an opinion. It is not slander when you're calling it out. What is wrong with someone coming in saying 1 year is ridiculous? How did he get this behavior? Where did he learn this behavior? Or, well, I'm not surprised because he was in a drunken boating accident and killed someone and he got off on that too, even though that was in the hands of the grand jury. But you know what I'm saying? This is wrong. This is wrong on all kinds of levels. And WJHL, you're part of the problem, and so is Rogersville Review. Ronnie Lawson is not going to resign. I bet he doesn't run again. He will conveniently retire. I have a feeling. He will conveniently retire. It is sick. Did you guys hear about the daycare workers in Mississippi that were scaring the kids with the screen mask? I was going to put it in Discord and see what you guys thought. I do not blame these parents for being pissed at all, but you guys have to see this.
Breaking news stories we're following right now. The first is in Monroe County. Sheriff Kevin Crook tells WTVA 9 News 5 former workers at a Hamilton daycare have been arrested in connection with a recent daycare scare video that went viral. These are the 3 people booked into the Monroe County Jail: Sierra McCandless, Jennifer Newman, and Tracy Hudson. McCandless and Newman face 3 counts of felony child abuse. Hudson faces 2 misdemeanor charges. Right now, we're waiting on the mugshots of 2 other people arrested: Oceana Kilburn and Cheyenne Shelton. They both face felony child abuse charges. The arrests stem from this October 4th video of the Little Blessing Daycare in Hamilton. The video shows a daycare worker wearing a Halloween mask, intentionally frightening the children, heard screaming and crying in fear. The owner says a similar incident was also recorded in September, but she adds she was not made aware of the incidents until the video surfaced on social media. We've got not 1 but 2 breaking.
So 5 people got arrested. When kids are screaming in terror, don't you stop? Why would you intentionally want to scare the kids? Man, if I went, and my poor kids had to go to daycare. When they went to kindergarten, my youngest, all the kids went to daycare. And I mean, the daycare people were awesome. I would drop them off in the morning before work. I'd pick them up after work. Of course, they would rather be with me and I'd rather be with them, but mama's got to work. If I ever heard of somebody in their face with a scream mask and they're screaming, that mask is scary to me. I'm really surprised they got felony child abuse. Now, this owner is not off the hook. She might think she is. She might say, I didn't see nobody walking around the daycare with a scream mask on. It's not going to work that way for the owner. No way. Rowena, what are you going to be for Halloween?
I don't know. Maybe a
Jeffrey
mover.
Dahmer. You can't be Jeffrey Dahmer.
No.
It's just, I mean, once they're screaming, it's time to take it off. But they kept goading them and going on and on. Now, Santa Claus scared my kids, and I'd make them sit there till they pissed their pants, and I got a picture.
It's funny. I've gone through boxes, because, I have one child, so I have every picture. And it's like the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus. I mean, she's just in terror. These daycare workers in Mississippi, I first found out about this like 2 days after it broke. And I got on my TikTok, and I don't make TikToks, but there was a lady that was covering that owns a daycare. This daycare is the only one in this town. There's no other daycare. So if anybody has any money, go, and I forget the name of the town in Mississippi, go open a daycare. It's going to be a gold mine.
Yeah.
Everybody was arrested. I don't care who wore the mask. The woman that wore the mask, she gave a piss poor apology, blamed everybody else, said that her parents loved her. What? She's nuts. If she's 18, I'd be shocked. Sue her. She ain't got nothing but make it to where she can never be around another child. Number two, whoever was holding that camera filming it, her excuse
Who
was
filming it? Is this the regular security there? Because some kids
no.
had to have told their parents, or did they put this on social media and the parents found out that way?
Right. The only security that they had at the daycare were security cameras that, fortunately, they weren't working. So the person that videotaped these horrific things that were done to these children, whoever taped it, she said she was doing it just to get a record. No, sister, no, boo-boo. Nope. And it wasn't the first time this had happened. Not the first time. But I
And
guess
that's true. And then we have the argument, people are coming out going, are you kidding me? I didn't wear a seatbelt till I was 15. My mom used to slam on the brakes, throw me into the windshield to teach me a lesson when seatbelts were developed. So I'm sorry that these kids were screaming, but these women should not have felony charges, and the owner should not get sued. Kids go to haunted houses.
To somebody
they see
ignorant.
They see scary.
3-year-old.
They see scary costumes when they go trick-or-treating. This looks like a money grab. This is just an argument. I'm just having a conversation. I'm just saying that when the kids were screaming, stop, it should have stopped there. I'm not saying that the kids' lives are ruined.
These little kids, you're talking about 3-year-olds, okay? This was a 3-year-old class that we know of, okay? This was a 3-year-old class, so you're not talking about kids coming after school and that kind of thing. You're not talking about 2nd, 3rd, 4th graders that, these were 3-year-olds. And lawsuits have been filed. One one person, one parent, set of parents, they said that they allowed their child to be on the news for it to be shown, and don't blur her face. Her face was purple, and they were also eating.
Okay, now,
Okay.
hang on. I have to ask a question. Like I said, I'm having a conversation. I want to look at both sides of this argument. I think it's stupid. I think it's disgusting. And when the kids were obviously not having fun, it should have stopped right there. That's just my opinion. What is the lawsuit? I'm suing you because you scared my child, or because you used my child's likeness on the news? What is it?
Emotional abuse. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm sorry. I would have just, she wouldn't have made it to court. Let's just put it that. She'd look a lot different once she got arrested.
How do they prove emotional abuse? Because
I don't know.
That's just what I'm wondering, because I want to know, because I've heard there are going to be lawsuits. That's why I said this owner, this is not, she can't play dumb. She can't play dumb because she was there. She heard all the kids screaming. Usually for a lawsuit, you have to have some damage that's going to go on past, a few days.
I do get that, but still I do it. I maybe I'd be wasting my money or what. I wouldn't care, but I would make it, like I said, not money, but I would make it to where the people that I have named in my suit, I would make it to where they were never, ever allowed to work with children again.
Oh, I doubt they'll ever work with children again. And let's face it, they were making $8 an hour. They can get a better job. They can get a job making more money. These women will be fine. It'll be pled down to a misdemeanor to take the child abuse out. The lawsuit, though, is what I'm wondering about. How you're going to how can you somebody? I'm just confused about how that. And if they get it, they get it. I don't care. To me, a line was crossed.
I don't have a parent.
When the kids are screaming, they're not having fun. They don't think it's funny. They don't think it's silly. It should have stopped. They're lucky that it's going to court. They're lucky that the law is involved, because I would have been all over that daycare worker, and particularly the owner. I'd have been like, no, 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 no. I'm paying you a huge chunk of my salary. It almost doesn't make sense, if you really want to know the truth, what I'm paying for daycare to go to work, and you're allowing this. It's one thing somebody comes in, I don't know, with, dressed like, Spider-Man or something. I mean, I don't know, something that it's not going to upset the kids. I mean, like I said, the Scream mask scares me when I see it on the shelf. I'm like, God, get that thing away from me.
And I mean, I was horrible with my daughter. I mean, I probably emotionally screwed her up, but she was a teenager. And we had a Scream mask, and her bedroom was on the second floor, and we put it on a swimming pool net, and we raised it up, and we knocked on the window. I mean, it was Halloween, but she wasn't 3 years old. But I'm like you. I don't know. I'm sure, there's always a lawyer that'll take a case and, rock on, take the case, do your thing. If you can, if nothing else, make them go to court for a while, make them sweat, make them be as scared as they made those little kids. And this was not the first time. And that's why so many people are arrested, is because it wasn't the first time. Teachers in other classrooms knew what was happening by these screams. These weren't screams of yay, these were screams of terror. If you terrorize anybody in my family, I'll be after you. My hair's red, and I don't care. I will go to prison. It's fine. But I'm mean. I'm a mean person.
I just would be furious. I'd be like, besides the amount of money that you pay to go to a daycare, and let's face it, it wasn't one worker that wouldn't stop with it. There was 5. So the owner, who claims to know not anything about this, nothing. She acts just very innocent, like I had no idea anything was going on. You didn't hear all these kids. The whole mask in the movie was made to scare adults. Imagine what it does to little kids.
Right.
All right, so 5 of them though, and she cannot. She's the one that's going to have to pay. None of these workers have a dime. None of them have a dime. They're all going to have pro bono attorneys to get through the court process. The parents will not be able to sue them for anything because they have nothing to sue them for. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what's a civil suit? It costs $140 to file it. You know, you make your argument. They don't have $140. So they're not going to monetarily be out of anything. They work at a daycare. I'm
No.
sorry to say. And if you work at a daycare, God bless you.
My
God
daughter
bless
did. That was her first job.
But they'll sue that. But they'll
And,
sue the owner's
she had to
insurance
quit
company.
because one of the daddies.
But the owner is the one that's going to have the problems. The owner's going to have the problems. Big time. I lost Rowena. Where'd Rowena go? Rowena, try to reconnect because the owner has an insurance policy. You know, if a child gets hurt at daycare and things like that. I don't know how the insurance is going to handle this insane situation. They're going to have to figure it out, though, because it's not just going to go away. That is for sure. That is for sure. They don't pay daycare workers hardly anything. Hardly anything. So as far as the daycare workers getting sued for any money, I just don't see it going anywhere. I don't know how long the felony is going to stick. Watching it, though, made me furious. Just because they wouldn't stop. And then when I found out there was 5 of them, then I have to see the owner going, well, I didn't know anything was going on. What was it, her day to go get ice cream? Was it her day to go get ice cream? There's Rowena. What's up, Rowena? You back?
Hi. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Are you in the garage again?
I mean, no, what no, I'm in my office. I'm in my office. It's all windows, so if I echo, I'm sorry. Okay, there's two different things, completely different endings. Okay, but I mean, 2 same things, different endings. Okay, this daycare worker had to provide a safe environment for these children.
Okay,
What
there
was
you go.
done?
That's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear, how is this lawsuit going to work? Because you're not going to prove permanent scarring on these children. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean.
No,
but
you're not.
But it's on the owner. You're right.
So you have to provide a safe environment. These children were eating. Okay, what would have happened if one of them would have choked? And you know my story about having to do CPR. I emailed you, so yeah, I'm real big on that. Okay, and what did Billy Ho have to do? She was supposed to provide a safe environment. It's the, I mean, yes, it had completely different outcomes. It's 2 completely different stories. But what if one of those kids would have choked? What if they could not get it up? What if, and you can what if and what if and what if, but the facts are a safe environment was not provided. Give me the keys for your daycare. You know, I'm sorry. You know, there's no way in the devil's hell that she did not know and she did not hear that screaming. Apparently, that mask was brought to scare the girl that by a teacher was brought by a teacher to scare a girl, that had the mask on and was doing the scaring. Okay, so it had apparently she made it.
You're cutting out, Rowena.
They've been up there a long time. Me, all right. Oh, am I? Hold on. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. But basically, they had.
She's got to reconnect. Becky said, I'm from Mississippi. Everyone is not like that. No. Mississippi is a gorgeous state. Beautiful people. I used to live there. I lived in Oxford. Loved Mississippi. Love Mississippi. No, they're not. It has nothing to do. It has to do with these people. These people. Just like when we're talking about the Quinton Simon case. We're talking about Billy. We're talking about Leilani. We're talking about Danny. We're talking about them. We're not talking about an entire state. We're not talking about the beautiful town of Savannah. We're not talking about the beautiful island of Tybee. We're not tying other people into their shit way of living. Just like when we talk about Summer Wells, we're talking about Dawn. We're talking about Candace. We're talking about Jody Pooh. We're talking about Grandis. We're talking about Ronnie Lawson, his son, Allie. We're talking about that circle, not Eastern Tennessee. There's people like that everywhere, but it doesn't encompass the entire area. So we don't do that here. What the hell is Rowena doing now? Rowena.
I don't know. I'm sorry. The moving gods have just cursed me. No, I think Mississippi, Biloxi. Oh my God! If I could move to Biloxi, I would. I mean, Mississippi is a beautiful, and I live right near it. Is a beautiful state. I'm talking about one daycare that is the only daycare in this town that is relied upon about people that work in this town, and they're like, "Holy crap! What am I going to do now?" So I'm like,
that's a problem too, because the daycare is not open for business. Couldn't be, because she lost 5 workers anyway. She can't have them back. I just don't believe the owner didn't know. And I'm so glad you brought that point up. And Kimmy Love did too, a different point that's awesome. It's her job as the owner to provide a safe environment for the children. And running around with a damn scream mask is not a safe environment. They were scared. Now, forgive me for what I said about how I would make my kids sit on Santa Claus's lap till they screamed. Mind you, with my grandchildren, when I have grandchildren, it won't be that way. I'll be like, no. If they don't like Santa Claus, they're not going to be around Santa Claus. We'll Photoshop a Santa Claus in there or something. We'll make it look just like the old Sears portrait studio. Kimmy Love says, have you thought about how tall the adults were to the little kids? What would you do if you saw an 8-foot person with a scream mask on that's wider and taller than you? So think about it from their perspective. They're down there in their little chairs and they look up. They don't put it together. It's a mask. They're little kids. They're little babies, 3 years old. And they look up and they see this. It scares the hell out of them. They're not putting together. Kim Olson, I lost you. Hit the link. I'm going to put you up in just a second. They're not putting together that, well, that's Miss Peggy or whoever, because that's the outfit she had on today. That must be a mask. They're just scared to death.
Right. And another thing in the video, I don't know if they showed it on the news, but I watched the whole video, and she left the room and then she came back in, and the teacher of the room told them which child was bad and which child was good.
Right.
And so the bad children got screamed at. I have no sympathy. I'm sorry. I don't have sympathy for the owner. You need to be shut down.
Yeah, she's going to be. And her insurance company's going to have to pay these families. There's going to be a lot more to it. Things like this take a long time. Anytime you involve the powers that be, as in the government, shit takes forever. Kim, what you got for me?
Hey, I was a nurse for about 19 years. I worked at a mental home for kids that was been abused. And trust me, before these lawyers even take their suit, more than likely these kids have been to a psychiatrist um, and they can write the diagnosis for it. My son, my third child, and my baby is 13 years older. He let my baby, when he was 2 or 3, watch Chucky, and I did not know it. And we visited a lady with a lot of dolls years later, and my son flipped out. The psychiatrist will figure out the cost on what's going to take to get these kids back to normal, close to normal. But yeah, the parents are not going to see a penny out of the workers, but it'll be on their records.
That's what I want. I don't want them to ever go to college to be a school teacher. Sorry, not.
Yeah.
You don't need to be anywhere around kids.
Well, these workers don't have common sense, or they wouldn't have done it. So
They don't,
Exactly.
they don't seem too damn smart considering their social medias.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Look at the apology. It makes you just want to throw whatever device you're watching on it. You know.
Here, let's watch the clip again real quick.
Okay.
Breaking news stories we're following right now. The first is in Monroe County. Sheriff Kevin Crook tells WTVA 9 News 5 former workers at a Hamilton daycare have been arrested in connection with a recent daycare scare video that went viral. These are the 3 people booked into the Monroe County Jail: Sierra McCandless, Jennifer Newman, and Tracy Hudson. McCandless and Newman face 3 counts of felony child abuse. Hudson faces 2 misdemeanor charges. Right now, we're waiting on the mugshots of 2 other people arrested: Oceana Kilburn and Cheyenne Shelton. They both face felony child abuse charges. The arrests stem from this October 4th video of the Little Blessing Daycare in Hamilton. The video shows a daycare worker wearing a Halloween mask, intentionally frightening the children, heard screaming and crying in fear. The owner says a similar incident was also recorded in September, but she adds she was not made aware of the incidents until the video surfaced on social media.
That was nothing. That is a spit in the ocean. That is the most watered down thing. What, 30 seconds?
Yeah.
That they showed what this woman did to these children.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm mad at the
other
news.
woman. Look at the other woman with her faded out T-shirt that looks like she got at the fair for free. Standing
Right.
there, not even telling her, take it off. The kids don't like it. They don't think it's funny.
Yeah. That's
You know,
why she's going down too.
Now, if they were 5 or 6, there might have been one kid and they're going, yeah, my dad watches that all the time. I watch that. I watch it every year for Halloween. No. Those kids were freaking out.
Yeah. And seriously, just put in daycare. Go on TikTok and just put in daycare scare, and it will come up. The whole entire thing. She scared them. She left. They were kind of doing that, that crying, like couldn't catch their breath afterwards,
Yeah.
And here she comes again,
No child,
It's sad.
no child was like, come here, I want the mask. I want to put it on. They were
Right.
all, it was the movies made for adults,
There's a
ridiculous.
reason why at movie theaters you have to be a certain age to go see that movie, and 3 isn't it.
Well, let's put ourselves in these kids' position. Get down on your knees and get a 6 foot tall person, weigh about 250, 260, and you're only 115 pounds on your knees, 5 foot. Let them be in costume. You don't know who they are. 5 of them, and they group over you.
It breaks my heart, and God bless you for the work you do. I do, baby. But God bless you.
Well, I'm
That-
disabled now because I have a work up, so I spend most of my time in bed. I have a broken back in 2 places, so
so sorry.
it's just part of the job. It's just like Russian roulette when you go to work.
you know?
Yeah, I
Part of
know.
the job.
I'm a nurse. I know. I'm on disability. I get it. I
You
just had
get
back
it.
surgery too. So, but
But I mean, what she's saying is, I mean, adults are obviously a lot bigger than little kids.
mhm.
And so they're not going to, at 3 years old, they're not going to put together that someone has a mask on. This is what she had on when she came in. They're just trying to scare me. It's a funny joke. They think they're the boogeyman just came into the daycare and they wouldn't stop. That's the problem. It wasn't we're going to be silly, even though that's so stupid. They wouldn't stop. Karma said, I'm sorry, but background checks mean nothing. Just because you don't have a record doesn't mean you're not a good person. Exactly. Means you just hadn't been caught yet. That's exactly right. And some never are. Some never are. I hear about some of these records that come out through these cases, and I'm like, oh my God, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. We're not going to hang this person up and think they're part of a horrific crime because of that. It just, I agree with Karma big time. So just because they did background checks on them doesn't mean that they're the brightest bulb for sure. But the one lady, I mean, I think she was being mean. The owner's going to get it.
She's vile. She couldn't even apologize. She blamed everybody else and cried and said, I promise I'll never work around children again. You know what? I'm going to make sure that the law holds you to that. I'm going to put something on your records where you won't ever work around a child again. And I know that was my daughter's first job was at a daycare. And my God, no, they don't get paid enough. They don't for what they do.
No,
And
it's
a lot
already
of times,
and it's already slim pickings. We have very slim pickings,
right?
As far as it goes for child care, law enforcement. We're down to bare bones right now. And then, something like this happens, that town's done for daycare. It was a licensed daycare. And she had to carry insurance. So if the insurance companies is it's going to come down to, the insurance company, because the judge can't rewrite the policy. That's what it's going to come down to. So all these lawsuits, they're going to be dealing with a law firm employed by the insurance company. The owner will probably lose the daycare 150%, not because nobody brings anybody to her, but because she can't carry insurance anymore is probably what it's going to come down to.
Right. No carrier. And if she does find a carrier, she won't be able to afford it. There'd be no way. I mean, I'm sure that there's an insurance company that would carry her, but it would be so astronomically high that, I mean, she would have to charge parents triple what they're paying, and they're already paying a ton. My daughter went to daycare. She ended up working at the daycare she went to, and yeah, they don't get paid enough. They have to put up with too much crap. She had to quit because she was being stalked, literally, by a police officer that was a daddy to one of the kids. She was having to be walked out to her car, and I said, "Oh, no." I said, nope. Mm-mm. So, I had to call his lieutenant and show my tail, but it's sad. It's sad that and I don't think teachers get paid enough. That's a whole nother story, but, law enforcement, teachers, daycare workers are the lowest paid, and they take care of our most precious.
Well, and like I said, it is slim pickings now for many, many reasons. And it's really not even so much the money. It's really not even so much the money, because if you have a passion for something, you already know that that's what you're going to get paid. There's other things going on. It's
Right.
really sick. And then when I look at this daycare, and we lost Kim. Kim, can you reconnect? When I look at this daycare, when I was reading about it, they also do like the copays through the state where, like, say, mom's making, I'm just going to use an even number, $10 an hour. We know mom with 3 kids could never afford daycare on $10 an hour. We know that. So she gets the copay. So the state pays for her daycare and she pays whatever so much a week, maybe $20 a kid. I don't know how it's set up. So that one daycare now, because the owner doesn't pay attention or didn't care, and these 5 workers have cost these people their daycare. It's a huge problem for that town, and I feel bad for them.
It is, and like I said, it's the only daycare there in that town. That's the only daycare. So now you're looking at, okay, I don't have anybody to watch my kids. How am I going to go to work? So that affects the whole economy of that town. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know about anybody else's town, but I don't care where I go. There's help wanted, help wanted, help wanted, help. I mean, there's help wanted everywhere, you know, and it's just sad to me. It's just sad. I think it's going to affect the whole town and the
Sure.
stupidity of people. But I can't sit there and say that she did not know that. There's no way she did not hear those screams. There's no way.
Even if she didn't hear, or I don't know what the excuse could be. Even if she wasn't even there that day, I don't know how she's going to get away with somehow not being considered responsible. Dina said not one of them could have said, okay, that's enough. That's what I'm saying. They're not laughing. They don't think it's cute. The kids aren't like, let me put the mask on. So yeah. Jules, you keep asking me this. Is the daycare a nonprofit? No, she takes money. So, I mean, at the end of the week, when mom and dad get paid, or just mom or just dad, however it works, mom and dad, they pay their bill. Or they're like, I'm going to need you for 5 days next week. What's the damage? And they write it out. But she also takes supplement. So she gets a check from the state for people who can't afford daycare. So they're a hurting unit. It's not like through the church or anything like that, if that's what you're asking. It's nuts, and they're going to have to do something. If somebody around there wants to buy a daycare, I have a feeling there's one for sale.
Yeah, I mean, you'd make a killing, because that town, it needs it, you know. And yeah, I fire everybody that ever crossed that threshold that ever worked there, because they all knew it. And you know, I showed we were riding in the truck, and when I first saw this, and I told my husband, I said, look at this, we're at a stoplight. He said, oh my God. You know, he goes, well, they should all be arrested. I said, yeah. I mean, this wasn't like last week getting ready for Halloween. This happened like a month ago.
This was October 4th. It wasn't even time to start doing, well, I mean, I guess the month of October, you do your Halloween stuff if you want to celebrate all month. Some people do, some people don't. This was October 4th. This was just a regular Tuesday. They weren't dressed up in costumes.
No.
This was somebody brought the mask and thought it'd be fun to scare the kids, is really what it looks like to me. And it's disgusting. When I see that one chick standing there with her gut hanging out, she didn't say, whoa, this isn't funny. These kids are scared. Don't do that.
She laughed.
An idiot.
She laughed.
She stood there like an idiot. So also this week, when we do a week in review show, when a lot of stuff has gone on, it's kind of hard to transition from one subject to another. But I'm so furious about little Nicole, who was murdered by her mom last Sunday, as if that's not enough. She slit her throat, and I mean, I can't even tell you what all she did. YouTube will send me an email as soon as this is over. Mark my words. It's getting very hard to do a true crime channel. I don't know how that one channel, The Misery Machine, I know they've had a lot of problems. Their channel will scare the hell out of you. Oh my God. I don't know where they find some of the cases. Man. But anyway, I know they've been having some problems. So I've got to watch what I say. I'm not trying to dumb anything down for you. You know, it's like Kendall Ray. She's got it down. She's like the Joel Osteen of true crime. It's like she's reading you a fairy tale. It's like she's singing you a lullaby, even though it's
Yeah.
totally horrible. I don't have that knack, guys. I don't have that knack. But this in Houston, besides the fact that the mom should have never been around her, never had her, probably never should have left the hospital with little Nicole. She's been institutionalized 9 times. So the woman is, I mean, she's got stuff going on. It was known by people, and it's not like nobody did anything. They didn't do near enough. She had a toaster she was carrying with her one day, as if it was a purse. She had like her fists out, like put them up, and was like punching at the air as if someone was there, as if somebody was there, talking to mailboxes. She has a lot going on. She says Nicole is evil. Now, I put a clip on the channel about this. Today's Friday, thank God. Wednesday morning, I believe, after I had my Golden Girls slumber. I said, I think she's evil. I know what they're going to pull. They're going to say mental illness. She'd already been institutionalized 9 times. CPS was very aware. Oh, God. The whole thing is such a mess. Such a disgusting mess. She is evil. I guess she believes Nicole had some sort of demons in her or something. When she got to the hospital, she brought her daughter to the hospital under the belief that they could fix what she had done to her. Where the father has been all this time, I don't know. Where the other family members that say they knew something was going to happen and they're heartbroken, I don't know. You guys have got to see this clip, though.
A mother accused of killing her 5-year-old daughter in Northwest Harris County.
Now, this morning, she was scheduled to face a judge just about an hour ago. Rilwan Belogan's live on the story from downtown Houston. Rilwan?
Oh, and Lisa, good morning. That hearing underway now. We don't see the woman in court at this point, so it's unclear if she will show, but they will likely read her charges. This, as we're learning new disturbing details in this case, the mother, Melissa Ann Town, accused of killing her 5-year-old daughter. Now, court records reveal that Town, quote, unlawfully, intentionally, and knowingly caused the death of her daughter by, quote, strangling her with her own hands. Now, initially, the mother told police she stabbed her daughter. Investigators say after the 37-year-old was taken into custody, she confessed to killing her daughter at Spring Creek Park in Tomball. But
all right. I don't want to elaborate on this, okay? She's telling them that she stabbed Nicole. She's telling them that. But they're saying, no, she strangled her. How does she not know what she did? I'm not defending this woman. She should never have been around this child. She is, wow. Then she goes on to say, after she said she stabbed her, and from what I'm gathering from what's come out recently, she actually didn't, that she did strangle her, which is horrific and terrible enough. Because she said, well, it took me 45 minutes. Like, I can't believe how long it took. Like, she said it very matter-of-factly. It took me 45 minutes. Now, this is why Nicole is saying to her mom, Melissa, the one that talks to mailboxes and thinks a toaster is her purse, but I've been good. So she's pleading with her because she's abused her before. Kenny said strangled, then stabbed. I have to find a new article then. She had a bag over her head. She had her in a laundry bag. She brought her to the hospital. This whole thing, CPS already knew about it. She should have been removed. No, we're going to have a hearing next Thursday, BS. She should have been removed. Period. removed. Forget it. You can't. She'd been institutionalized 9 times. I'm not knocking anybody who has any sort of mental illness because we all have something. But she had been flat out institutionalized 9 times. I can't tell you how many of them because she's a danger to herself.
Deputies weren't able to find a scene. Authorities learned about this yesterday around noon when town arrived at the HCA Tomball Hospital emergency room asking for help, stating, quote, her daughter's body was hurting. And moments later, an emergency room nurse walked to town's vehicle and found the 5-year-old unresponsive with laceration marks around her neck. The little girl pronounced dead minutes later. Now a look at town's criminal history. We found several incidents in Montgomery County and a 2018 arrest in Tomball for, quote, kicking a public servant. Now, again, we do expect she's scheduled to appear in court. It's unclear exactly if she will show, but we do expect her charges to be read live.
Good God. Okay, sorry for the confusion. She did stab her. Because I read another article where she was saying that they said, no, you strangled her. All right, good to have that clear. I cannot believe that the CPS workers or the judge, whoever is making these decisions, first of all, were allowing her to live in a tent at the Boy Scout camp. She was in a tent at the Boy Scout camp. The dad was on TV. It looked like he had walls around him, so I'm going to assume he has a home. What the hell is going on in this case? What do you think, Rowena? Kim, why don't you turn your camera off and I'll bring you back up.
I haven't heard this case until just now. I'm going to be sick. These are the exact examples of why I refused so many times to discharge a baby with a mother. Look, CPS don't get paid enough. There's not enough of them. But damn it, protect a child. Protect them. You know, she's walking around town with a toaster. You know, did she have custody? Did her mom have custody? I can't see.
She did.
That okay. That I'm about to cry. This is just awful.
No, we're going to keep it as light as possible. Let's just focus on the woman with the toaster.
It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. You know what? There is no telling how many people again failed this child.
Mm-hmm.
Again. I mean, in fact, I had even asked, I got mad one day and I asked the social worker, I said, what do I have to do to get a baby not to go home with this abusive parents? What do I need to do? Do I just need to throw it against the wall? Will y'all do something then? You know, this case hits too close to home about the baby that I said was brought back with 2nd and 3rd degree burns. Too close. And I live with that decision every day.
Angel said this is a great example of needing involuntary commitment. This woman had already been in her defense attorney. I saw another clip. I was looking into this yesterday. Her defense attorney, which this is going to be paid for by the state because she doesn't have any money. He said she's been institutionalized 9 times. And look, it's no walk in the park to spend the rest of your life in a institution, which is probably what's going to happen to her. My thing with this is as well, the judge who brags about being tough on crime gives her a $15 million bail, as if we're all supposed to go, oh, he means business now, doesn't he? The woman thought a toaster was a purse. You might as well have made it 20 gazillion, quadrillion, whatever name, whatever you want. She doesn't know. This woman was living at the Boy Scout camp in a tent. She has no idea. Hello, Erica. How are you, beautiful?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Brooks?
Well, just wrapping up the week, girlfriend, going through some things that we've been discussing through the week and wrapping up to get ready for hopefully the criminals behave next week and we don't have such an insane week. I'm sure you're probably afraid to come into Discord. You're probably afraid to leave general chit chat in there over the crazy stuff going on.
Oh, yeah. It is crazy.
This is something you should probably cover on your channel, Erica.
I'll do my research.
It's nuts. No way should this woman have been allowed to be around her. There should not have been we were going to go see her at the Boy Scout camp on Sunday and see if she has. No, kids are supposed to have running water, ample food. From what I'm understanding, mom had custody. This was her weekend with her. Now, there's a lot coming out in this case, so I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but we're going to find out. I want to find out everything about this little girl and why she was with the mom. And I did see an article where they said children. I'm going to assume that Melissa has other children. I hope to hell, obviously, they're not with Melissa, but that they're with good homes. I don't even want them with the family that knew all of this and don't seem to be too surprised by it.
I agree.
Wow.
One thing I don't understand is when you discharge a patient, everybody, it's like you got tons of papers when you come in, tons when you go out. You have to ask them, do you have running water? Do you have, any food needs? Do you have a car? No. Okay. What kind of transportation do you use? Tons of questions about their home.
Mm-hmm.
And was CPS going to go to the Boy Scout camp and check out how everything was going? This is just.
Well, we might have another Billy Joe situation on our hands because No Chains No More relatives said he had custody of her since birth. So she's saying that the daddy had custody, that the relative said he had custody. So if he had custody, he should have never let Nicole go with her. Ever.
Mm-mm.
She said
It's
since
just mind blowing. I just.
5 years he would have known about this. Now, the 9 institutionalizations, I don't believe are from when Nicole was born. They've been over time. He should have never let her go, ever. Mm-hmm. I hope he gets charged. I hope he gets. Melissa is too crazy. Melissa is too crazy.
I hope him and Billy Ho have a sale together.
Melissa is too crazy to say, oh, no, it's my weekend. I'm going to charge you with kidnapping for not letting me see my child. No, Melissa, she would have never raised a stink about this. No.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And I'm not taking up for anybody. God knows I'm not. But I will say that the mental health community or however it works, they don't care if you're 6 weeks pregnant. They don't care if you just got out of bed and think you might be pregnant. They're not going to take you. I was an OB case manager too for 6 different states here, and a mental institution will not, even a behavioral health, just 2 weeks of whatever, they would not if there was a baby in that uterus, you could forget it. They were petrified. And so,
well, her daddy wasn't petrified. Her daddy wasn't petrified to let her go with crazy.
Right.
What does he have, a new girlfriend? What does he want to?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not question. I don't care about that. Mom and dad, Melissa is crazy. And I'm not putting on anybody. She has huge problems. I don't know if she's on some kind of drugs. I'm sure drugs are involved. The more I hear about this, the more I have to get away from it because it makes me so mad in this case.
Yeah. And I'm not defending her. That's just a little piece of information, just a little small piece.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly
And,
right.
and those people, because they can't take their medication if they are bipolar, because it's not safe with pregnancy. So then what happens, but this case, I just said that in general. This case right here, same as Billy Ho. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if dad, there's no way dad couldn't have known something was going on with Melissa. I just don't believe it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I mean, I saw him on
And
the
shame
news.
on him for getting her pregnant.
Well,
Shame
there
on
you
him.
go. There you go. Elaine said maybe he should be investigated as well. That's what I'm thinking. Because I still think that something might come down with Billy. They might say, no, you knew. You knew. You knew. You knew. I saw the documents, which, by the way, were not supposed to be spread around. I've seen them, though. I think they got leaked in a Facebook group or something. And either way, they're out. And this clearly had been made clear to Billy before. It's crazy. I can't with these people.
Does anybody know how many other children she has?
2.
Since it said children. 2.
No Chain says she has 2 other children.
Okay.
Oh my.
And who has those children?
No Chains, no more. Do you know who has the other children? Because I hope they go into foster care. You should never wish that upon any child. But when, they say it takes a village, right? When the whole village fails, get away from the village. It's time to move. When the whole village fails, get away from them. She says she has 2.
They'll be alive.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And you're rolling the dice on some of those too. If you're a foster parent, God bless you, because you are doing God's work.
Yep.
Nuh-uh.
I'm gonna get off here and cry. I'm gonna hop down because I know I'm about to cry, so I don't want
Oh, honey, I don't want you
I'll be
crying.
listening.
I didn't mean to upset
it just touches me. And I'm sitting in my office with all this stuff around me, and things change in your life, and it's just, I'm just gonna cry a little bit. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. I'm gonna pray for all these babies that are hurt and don't have a voice, and pray that God just protect them, and that justice, if they can't be protected, that they get justice. There's so many out of this whole community. We can't, and that's not including Facebook, that's not including Instagram, it's not including Twitter and all these other platforms that we have. There's no way we could keep up with all of them.
No. We lost Rowena.
Oh no.
Well, I don't want Rowena upset. Let's have a big round of applause or a big virtual hug for our friend Rowena. She is fired up. Diane said, I wouldn't have left a hamster alone with Leilani. I wouldn't either, particularly if the powers that be in the state that you live in said, don't do it. There's a reason. So, as we know, CPS is a very failed, broken, red tape system. It doesn't help the matter when people that are supposed to be receiving the help, CPS should never be involved in your home, period.
No.
It should be between mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, the village. The village should be able to take care of the child. But anyhow, when it gets out of hand and CPS gets involved, it doesn't help matters when the people don't do what they're told. So when they're told, hey, Billy, you have custody of Zane and Quinton. You are not to let them be around Leilani. If she comes for dinner, that's one thing. Because I don't believe that they knew Leilani lived there. I don't believe that.
Right.
Leilani would go inside. I really do. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say, no, they tell you when they're coming by. Even if they knocked on the door and she's like, oh, it's the worker, Leilani, go get in the closet. Because they got to make sure they're home. You know, Billy works. We have daycare. We have things going on. I think this was a hiding out situation because Billy's going to do
Yeah.
whatever he wants to do. What do you think?
Yeah, I think she's going to do whatever in the world she wants to do.
I read about this, Mama B. I read this yesterday. It came on my notifications. I actually got this notification where after all this time, Brad Sproles, I guess he wrote a letter to the judge that he's not going to represent Megan Boswell anymore. They've had a breakdown in the attorney-client relationship. Good luck, Megan, because Megan said he doesn't want to pursue, I guess, the type of defense she wants to pursue. I'm dying to know what it is because the next attorney is going to say the same thing. No, Megan, we're not going to play the blame game. They have a lot of evidence against you, Megan. It's crazy.
These criminals, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Well, if they'd behave for a little bit, we could have somewhat of a normal show. For 2 weeks, I haven't known from day to day what we were going to talk about. I haven't known. So we started the week talking about the 4 men that were murdered in Okmulgee, Oklahoma, just a couple towns away from me.
Right.
And we're all still asking, it was just bizarre. In the first place, 4 men go missing. Nobody can get a hold of them. They're not answering their cell phones. How can 4 men just go missing? Well, then their body parts were found. Were found in we've been having a drought for a while. Found in a river with, I guess, a little bit of water in it. I'll put it that way. It's kind of hard to explain. You just have to see it. So their body parts are found in the river. Then the chief comes on Monday of this week. And it's all on the channel that they did ID them. The four sets of body parts that they found are the men in Okmulgee: Mark, Billy, Mike, and Alex. Then he blasts out that these 4 were on their way to commit a crime, which we can just assume would be stealing from the salvage yard of Joe Kennedy. My question, and I didn't get to go over it on Monday because we had some other stuff going on, but now that we're getting further along is, okay, Joe Kennedy lived, he's going to get a new house pretty soon, lived in the town of Okmulgee. Who tipped him off and said that Sunday night they were going to go there and get whatever it is, bicycle parts, catalytic converters, I don't care, whatever it is, tin cans to go recycle? We don't recycle here. Who told him? Was he out there waiting for them, or did someone say, hey, they're on their way now? What do you think, Erica?
He was probably waiting for him.
Really? That's what you think?
Yeah. He knew somebody was stealing from him.
Oh, yeah. It'd been going on for a while. Yeah, it had been going on supposedly for a while. And in Oklahoma, we have the make my day law, or make your day, depends on you. You can definitely defend yourself, but you have to be, your life has to be in jeopardy to do it. So, in this case, that's why I want to know if he was out there. And by the way, that flew out the window when he dismembered them and put them in the river.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mama B said, and Crystal justifying it, saying it was just junk. No, you don't steal from anybody. This was, they're not here to defend themselves. I'm just saying what the chief said. The 4 men. He said they were on on their way to commit a crime. Okay. Against Joe. So I'm just wondering, did Joe just camp out at the junkyard all day waiting on him? Or did someone say, because there was other people that were going to be part of this and backed out? Did everybody knew Joe.
Right.
Did someone tell Joe?
Could have been one of the guys that backed out.
Could be. Joe's wife filed for divorce. Was it yesterday or the day before? Sometime this week, she filed for divorce. I don't think it's because his mugshot didn't turn her on. I think it's because she needs to get all the property in her name so that the families cannot sue for wrongful death, which they can sue anyway. They just won't get anything or as much. Joe's loaded. Joe has tons of rental properties. Joe has real estate. And as it sits right now, the families of these 4 men, yes, they were on their way over there to steal something from him. I don't know how this would play out in court, but they could sue for wrongful death and get some money. So she already knew how Joe was. She files for divorce and she's going to get everything. She's going to get everything. They can't sue her. She hasn't been charged with anything suspicious or anything. What do you guys think? Do you think that she was just done with Joe, or this is a greedy move?
This could be a greedy move. I can see where it would be a greedy move. Why would you wait until now to get the divorce?
Yeah. Just seems like it to me. It just she already knew how Joe was.
Oh, yeah.
Mama B thinks, nope, this pushed her over the edge and that was it. Kimmy thinks greedy move. Britt said if they were armed, how would one guy get the first blow? Okay. Joe Kennedy's wife filed for divorce. So anyway, old Joe, he talked to the police on Friday. He was not named a suspect, person of interest, or anything. Not charged. So he hightails it out of town. They found him in Daytona. I don't know what the hell he was doing, sunning himself on the beach. I don't know what this fool was doing. So it turns out, okay, his car was left at a business in Morris, Oklahoma. Then he gets another car. Now, this information was given to me, which we're going to do a separate show and talk about more, that he didn't steal a car. He took his son's Toyota Tundra. His son was said, if you gave him that car, we're going to get you for aiding and abetting. So we're going to call that car stolen, so that way we can run the tags wherever he's at and we can get him. We got to bring him back here. I don't know if it's true, but it makes sense. I don't see Joe. Joe has the means. You know what I'm saying? Joe's loaded. Joe could have taken an Uber to Florida if Joe wanted to. So that's where that came from. Anyhow, so this is the clip real quick. There's Joe, the one that Sandra's ass is done with. She's like,
ew.
He's got a black eye. Who was mean to Joe?
Who knows?
Somebody blacked his eye.
A person of interest is now in custody in the case of 4 friends who were found dead in Oklahoma. The Okmulgee Police Department said it wanted to question Joe Kennedy for their investigation after detectives found evidence of a violent event on property next to his salvage yard. Cops say Kennedy was apprehended in Florida in a vehicle that was reported stolen to the Okmulgee Sheriff's Office. The police chief announced that the remains of Mark Chastain, Billy Chastain, Mike Sparks, and Alex Stevens were found in the Deep Fork River days after they were reported missing. They had all suffered gunshot wounds and were partially dismembered. Police say the men were planning to commit a criminal act the night they went missing, although they don't know the specifics of the plan. Police say Kennedy is considered a person of interest and their investigation is ongoing. Authorities are in the process of extraditing him back to Oklahoma. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Mara Matubana.
In the process of could be a year from now. They already said there's no timeline to bring him back to Oklahoma. They're in no hurry to get him back here. They're like, look, I got reports to fill out and type out, however the chief said it. They're going to build their case. They're in no hurry to bring him back here. So when they say, well, there's no timeline for extradition, his ass will be sitting in Florida for a while. So my Florida friends, I'm sorry about that, but you got Joe for a while. Now the judge in Florida, like I said, Joe's got money. The bond that they had was like $500,000. Now this is for something else. I think they did an application to accelerate something else. But it's a whole show on its own. So anyway, he revoked it and said no, because he said the information that was in front of him told him maybe old Joe doesn't need to be out walking around. Joe can sit there and think about some things for a while. I have a feeling in some of his phone calls back to Sandra, his wife, he probably said, divorce me now, you get everything. If not, these families are going to sue for wrongful death and we'll lose everything. I really think that conversation had happened between him and Sandra. I don't know why, but it's just my opinion.
Maybe.
Yep. And the way things go down, who knows how it's really all going to pan out, because I'm hearing all kinds of crazy stuff all the way around. You guys wouldn't believe it when we do the next show. We'd be here till 5 o'clock if I started going through it.
Oh boy.
Lala said, just like what Bill and Melinda Gates did. Kinda. Stacy said he didn't do this by himself. I don't think he did either. For some reason, I just don't. Not because Joe is frail or anything like that, but you're talking about the dismemberment of 4 grown men, and he moved them to the river.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you use the Make My Day law, it happened in Broken Arrow a few years ago. You call the police and say, I shot an intruder. Or however you want to phrase it. You let them know what went down. I'm not a good shot. I'm just letting everybody know now. So that law doesn't apply to me. I'd have to beat them over the head with the cell phone as I'm calling 911. But you call them afterwards. So that's a big argument in this. Yes, Joe's protecting his property. Yes, Joe didn't want to be stolen from, but Joe should have gone out there if he got tipped off with the police, or should have called right after he did what he did.
Yes. Sorry, I'm a little distracted right now. Something's going on outside.
Uh-oh. Well, you go check on that, girlfriend, because I'm going to start winding this down, get everybody off to their weekend. I just really wanted to catch up for the week, because we had 2 weeks in a row. I can't remember having such a crazier time. Such a crazier time. Summer Thunder said, how much time did he have? Well, from Sunday night, they found the body parts in the river a week ago today. I don't know. Let's say, 5 days if all the dumping was done that Friday morning. I don't know. I don't think Joe's going to tell him. I do think he was tipped off. We have conversations and agree to disagree here, because it was just a little too convenient that he met up with them. Just a little too What a weird way to bump into somebody, if you know what I mean. I really do. Yeah, Lisa, we don't know. But we're going to find out. We're going to keep discussing this stuff and how insane it's been lately. Like I said, hopefully next week, the weather's getting cooler. It's going to be in the 80s over this weekend. Fine by me. I can't handle those thick socks and stuff like that. Maybe this cooler weather or something will calm these criminals down and they can, just get back to showing up to court and stuff. I don't know. But it has been nuts. Absolutely nuts. So hang on. Just Me said, have a blessed weekend. I'm going to try. Just Me. You're going to try. Who knows what's going to happen? Now, I do understand sometime today there's supposed to be an update on Quinton. Now, they didn't say it was any sort of significant update. I don't know if it's going to be we're still searching. It can be a few more days. It can be a few more weeks. If it's something significant, it all matters. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay anything. It all matters. If it is something of what we're hoping for, listen, we have found Quinton. We have arrested his mother. Set your notifications. I will jump in and we will go live. If it is we're still looking for him, it could be another month. We'll discuss it on another show. But in the meantime, I hope you all have an amazing weekend. I hope all your teams win. Hope you eat some great food, Netflix and chill, whatever it is you do. And I'll be in and out of Discord like I normally do, saying hi, talking, joking with you guys, just like we always do. And if I miss you over the weekend, then I'll see you guys back here Monday morning. So you guys are the absolute best. You are amazing, amazing people. Best chat on YouTube for sure. See you guys later. Bye-bye.